Hello.
And welcome
to Delusional Boyfriend Book Club,
where pretending to date your best friend's hot-ass brother is wrong.
I don't want to be right. I'm Courtney.
I'm Phoebe.
I'm Brooke.
And we'll be your hosts. And today we are talking about our romance novel of the month, which was The Right Move. This is a sports romance to go right into tropes. It's brothers, or best friend's brother.
Yeah, fake dating.
I already said sports. Slow burn.
Yeah.
Roommates.
Yeah, forced proximity.
Forced proximity, roommates to lovers. What else do we have here?
I don't know. It's not shared trauma, but they both have relationship trauma. Pretty bad.
Yeah, an introvert, extrovert, opposites attract.
It's not enemies to lovers, but they definitely, or he really doesn't like her to start. They had some bad first impressions.
He has a huge change in kind of personality and dynamic.
For sure.
So it goes from grumpy sunshine to he's not really that grumpy deep down.
Yeah.
So those are our tropes. This is written by
Liz Tomforde.
And is this it's definitely not the first book in the
It's
series.
the second book in the Windy City series.
So the first book has to be the best friend.
The first book
And
is
the
about
hockey
Stevie.
player.
Yeah, Stevie and Xander.
Wonderful. If you guys haven't already, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe and follow along because every month we cover a romance novel, a BL anime, BL manhwa, and a something else.
Live action?
And a BL live action. And I also drop a Shonen Simp Club episode every week with my husband where we go over a shonen manga. So follow along if you guys are into all of that. And to dive right in, Phoebe, take us through The Right Move.
Okay, so the book starts and we are with Indy, and she has just found her boyfriend, life partner of 6 years, cheating on her with another woman. So she is in a bad place. And
question right off the bat, because this is not the first book in the series, and you don't need to read any of the other books to read this one, but is that couple...
That happens at the end of the first book.
Okay.
He's barely in it, but you just hear about him because Stevie and, oh my gosh, Stevie is the sister and Indy, they work for the flight attendant. They're like flight attendants together for the hockey team, so that's how they meet. And then Stevie's not doing that anymore in this book, and Indy is still doing that. So that's how they meet. And then, so we hear about Alex, but he's not in the book. He's, one of those ones where you just hear about him and it's distant, and then besides that part.
There's, right when we meet our main character, there's just a familiarity with the best friend and the story about the boyfriend where you're like, oh, this definitely got gone over lightly in a volume before.
Yeah, and it's like the book before ends and it's like, then there's a summer break. Okay. And then this book starts.
Okay.
So that she went to Florida for the summer, stayed with her parents, thought about moving to Florida, and Stevie doesn't want to lose her best friend, so she sets her up to live with her brother. She begs her brother to let Indy live there so that she has a place to stay while she's looking for a place to live. Otherwise, she's going to move and Stevie will lose her best friend, which she totally uses as twin guilt, as she's had a lot of trouble making friends in her life because he's so famous. He's like a huge deal professional basketball player. He makes a bunch of money, and so a lot of her friends have only been her friend to get close to him. So he has this guilt that she totally takes advantage of to get him to let Indy live with him so that she can keep her best friend.
And I do like the setup of this because the first chapter is this guy shooting free throws and his twin sister comes in to rebound for him, and she's like, hey, let my best friend live with you. And we get this dynamic already right off the bat of these twins. Yeah. And that was their relationship the whole time was really cute.
Yeah, and you get a lot of it in Stevie's book too, which is great. But this is probably my favorite. I don't know. This whole series I really like.
The Windy City.
Because they all take place in Chicago, but there's 2 books about hockey players, this 1 book about basketball, and then 2 books about baseball players in this series. And then I'm also reading a spin-off that's about the baseball coach and the owner of the baseball team.
Okay, so we start in with Ryan, who is a basketball player.
Yep.
There's my first thing I had difficulty with.
I know, because we hate basketball, except
no, it's
so
my
tall.
father-in-law's name is Ryan. And so
Ryan. The Ryan part.
Like, the whole book struggling to be like, and we've covered Heated Rivalry, and that character's name is Shane, which is my brother's name, and I was like, this one won't be so bad, but I kind of want to name my son Ryan as well, and I was just like, oh my God.
You're like, it just, during the sex scenes, his name is no longer Ryan.
Yeah, so Ryan is the main character, Stevie's his twin, and then Stevie's best friend is Indigo, who she wants to move in. And also, I would say that best friend's brother works better for me when it's a childhood best friend that's been going on. Oh, I've always
I would say
him.
that the trope being best friend's brother, that's what you're going to think of.
Yeah.
More than this is really
because they're
more
new.
fake. This one's fake dating to me more than anything else, for
it's
sure.
definitely number one.
But there is this element of like best friend's brother, which I was like, oh, it's not even played up a ton, but I was like, oh, that always does. It hits home for me better when it's someone they've known forever, and she's only known Stevie for a short amount of time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because Stevie moved to Chicago a year before.
Okay.
Right when her book starts. Okay, so he lets Indy move in because he is feeling guilty.
Also, I think it's worth... So when Stevie says, please let my friend move in, he's like, oh, the friend that I've met twice, that the first time I met her, she was, like, drunk off her ass and telling me how hot I am, and the second time I met her, she puked on my shoes. Or
she was crying. Yeah, the first time she was super drunk, puked on my shoes, and the second time she was crying.
And both times, though, she made sure that she told Ryan how attractive she thinks he is.
Yeah, because he is.
Yeah.
Which I love about her, because it's just...
I've truly never, and we'll get more into it, I've never related more to a character than I've related to Indy.
I love this character.
100%.
I really
she's
did like
great.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Indy moves in. She moves into this apartment, and she's like, wow, this place is a sterile nightmare. Everything is black and white. It's too clean. There's nothing colorful, and she is a colorful personality. And so she moves in and immediately starts going through her stuff. So her shit is just everywhere in the whole apartment when he gets home.
And all she really owned was like decor because
it's
lived with this guy.
It's like clothes. It's not even really decor. It's mostly books and clothes.
And the reason I relate to her is more the way that she interacts with Ryan, like when she's always, and the way that she talks to Stevie about him. She's like, okay, fine, I'll move in with your brother, but I'm certainly gonna bang him. And like, Stevie's like, I want daily updates, and she's like, fine, I'll just tell you about how I can't wait to bang your brother, and then I'll give you all the juicy details when I finally do.
Yeah.
And just in the way that she is mean to Ryan, but then is also like
and also deep down wants the best for him and really cares about him.
Just the way that her interactions with Ryan specifically, and like, or when he's like, is this just how you are? And she's like, yeah, it's my charm.
Yeah.
And like that, just the way that she interacts with him is very Brooke coded, I think.
And she is very badass, even though she has been only with one man ever. She definitely knows herself and what she likes and what she wants out of life, and she walked away from that situation full stop, which I always like in a character.
Yeah, and he's like her high school sweetheart, so they have all the same friends, and all their friends are also dating, and so she's basically like, she starts the book and she runs into her friends, and they're going bridesmaid dress shopping, and she is also in the bridal party, but they didn't even think to invite her, and like, they're basically telling her, like, you should just take Alex back because he just made a mistake. It's not that big of a deal. Which is so horrible. Yeah. It's so horrible. It's so hard to watch because I feel like we're lucky. Like, we have obviously, Brooke and I are cousins. She's stuck with me for life without choice, unfortunately.
Brooke has been in my life for over a decade now, too.
Yeah. You and I have been friends for 17 years. Yeah. So I'm lucky because I have friends that I grew up with that are still good friends to me. But then there's also friends that you grew up with that you've become an adult and you spend time with them and you're like, God, you are the worst.
You changed a lot, but not the best way.
Yeah, or you just realize like you have better, like you make friends outside of that situation that are such good friends. It makes you realize that your like hometown homie was not a good friend. They were just the only person that was there. And that happens to her, like big breakthrough in this book.
With boys, if your friends choose the guy that hurt you over you,
that they're not your friend.
They're not friends.
Especially when it's like, it's one thing when it's like an amicable breakup.
Yeah.
When
cheating.
When she walked in, she got home early from a trip and walked into him sleeping with someone else in her own bed. The fact that any of her friends would take his side is
so
fucking
upsetting.
Crazy.
It's so
crazy.
Upsetting.
This was some guy that came to Phoebe's game night the other night and was annoying her. And as soon as Brooke walked in, I
whispered to Brooke, I was like, I hate that guy over there. And so then she was mean to him the whole night. It was awesome.
If that's not your friend's reaction when somebody slightly irritates you, they're not a friend. If your friend isn't murdering somebody when they cheated on you. That's not your friend. So Indy is very lucky that she met Stevie because she's a homie through and through. It seems like even though she knows that her brother is private, she trusts Indigo as much as she would anybody because she lets her in on this side of her family that's like really private.
Yeah.
So her old friends can be fucked because she's got a new friend who is going to do all their jobs for them.
Yeah. So she's like a bomb that's going off in Ryan's life at this point, and he is not nice about it. He is not understanding. He's like straight up mean to her, and she does not take it. And she like throws her shoes at his door after he storms out of the room, which is so good because when he comes out in the morning, her shoe is wedged in her door and there's scuff marks on his door. And I love that.
Yeah, I know.
scene.
And when he's
so
like, I wonder
good.
if this is the shoe that left a mark on my door.
Yeah.
And I do love that she's like, I don't know. In his house, immediately she's very comfortable, even though she's paying a limited amount of money. She doesn't make herself a burden or an imposition.
Well,
she makes
she
herself
went into
comfortable.
it too, and she was like, listen, I know that the first 2 times that we met weren't great, and it was mostly because of me. I get that. I see that. But thank you so much for letting me live here. I'm living here. We're roommates. Do you want to, maybe we should have breakfast together tomorrow. Maybe we should try to kind of,
Get
we
to
don't
know
have to be
each
best
other.
friends, but
Yeah.
can we at least be friends a little bit since we're living together?
Yeah.
And he's just, no.
No. She's like,
She is great at communicating, and he is horrible at communicating.
Yeah.
Because even when he first initially says she can move in, he wants to tell her, like, hey, I got you a key, move in, whatever. But instead, he is super rude to her, and he lists out all these rules about the apartment.
Yeah.
She can't have anybody over. She can't be home later than 10. So he wants to communicate a certain way, but he just keeps coming off super grumpy and grizzly.
Yeah.
And that's the same way he's coming off to his teammates. So all around, everyone's impression of him is that he's just short, and he truly can't let the softer side of him show.
yeah, no, everybody just knows him as a hard-ass, hard-working, very
Basketball is the only
talented,
thing in his
but
life that
basketball's the
matters.
only thing he cares
Basketball and his
about.
twin sister, and that's
Yeah, and so it's a really interesting dynamic, which leads to the fake dating.
And she has been very cautious not to ask too much about her best friend's brother because she doesn't want to seem like she's using her best friend. So she also doesn't understand why he's so closed off, why he doesn't want to be in the press, why
and
he
she
doesn't want to
hasn't
be in public.
she hasn't Googled him. She doesn't
Yes.
really know anything about him other than he's Stevie's brother. He's the star of the basketball team, and
He's
he's
the
super
star of the
hot.
NBA also at this point.
Yeah.
He is the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Is how they put it in the book.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this space, his apartment, is, she doesn't even understand what a sanctuary it is because she doesn't understand how little he actually goes out in public, how little he
And
opens
also,
himself up.
she doesn't understand that it could even feel like a sanctuary to him because of how sterile and rigid and unlived in it feels. He has 4 forks. He has 4 bowls. That's it. Clearly, he's not entertaining. There's nobody coming over that he needs more dishes for. There's nobody coming over that he would have a plant for. There's nothing. So it doesn't feel like it could even be someone's sanctuary to her because she's so the opposite.
Yeah, so he starts laying down all these rules to try to keep it that certain way, and I love a girl who's just like,
I'm not going to do that.
You think you're stubborn and set in your ways, just see what a force of nature I am. It's like when an unstoppable object meets an immovable force, and obviously he gets moved in the end, and and I love that. She really does change him.
Yeah, she is like inertia in his life. Sure, certainly. Yeah, so she obviously blows everything up, and then he is at practice, and we find out that he is now the captain of the team.
Also, they have that huge fight that first night when he gets home, and then the next morning, and she's, let's get breakfast. He's like, no. And then the next morning she wakes up. He immediately, the thing about him is that he does all these impulsive things. He almost, and when it's on his point of view, he almost always immediately feels guilty.
Yeah.
He's very
100%.
impulsive, but he's very good at acknowledging when he's
self-aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the next morning when she wakes up, he's like making breakfast, and he's making breakfast for her, and then he finds out that she doesn't eat meat, and that is important for later in the book.
Yes.
So
And
that's
also
all.
that she only takes her coffee cold.
Yeah, she likes her coffee cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, both come up for sure.
So they kind of come up with an agreement, a lease.
Yeah.
They come up with like how much she's gonna pay. She wants to pay $1,000, and he's like, you could find a place for yourself for $1,000 a month. So the whole point of this is that it's temporary and you're supposed to be saving. So how about you pay me $500 a month, but you have to promise me that $500 also goes in the savings.
Yeah,
every month.
and she's for sure that'll be savings for rent. But in her head, we find out that she actually is saving money to freeze her eggs for fertility treatments because
her mom had fertility
Yeah.
issues. It's genetic.
yeah, and that was like a huge problem in her relationship with Alex that he didn't acknowledge ever really. So that's also part of this whole story that's pretty important.
Yeah.
And so then he is at basketball practice and the owner is there and he does not have a great relationship with the owner. He doesn't really care about, he comes off as an ass. So the owner thinks he's an ass. And then he doesn't think he's the right man to be the captain, but the team has voted for him and he was the old captain's replacement choice. So he is the captain and the owner really has no faith in him. But he's really close with the old captain and his wife. And so he is picking up on this. Oh, I need something. They're never going to invite me to this thing as just me. And so then Indy comes to his practice to do something else. What is she even there for? To yell at him about something? Isn't she upset about something?
She was upset about something. No, her key didn't work.
Oh, okay,
I left her a key, but it didn't work. And he was talking to the owner of
the gym.
And no, because she came in and he was like, what are you doing here? And then the owner was like, come talk to me. And he was like, don't move and don't talk to anybody. Yeah. And then basically what the GM and the owner was saying was that, like, because he is such a lone wolf and because he confronts the owner. He's like, why don't you think I can do this?
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not that I don't think you can do it. I think it's that in order to be a captain, you need to be a good leader and you need to be, like, approachable. And you're really good at basketball and you know your shit, but, like, nobody feels like they can approach you because you are such a lone wolf. You don't like to go out for drinks with the team. You don't have a family. All these guys have families, or you don't have a girlfriend. And that was essentially how Ryan was. He's like, because I don't have a wife, then
because they had taken the owner's niece
out to
an event, and then he kept suggesting that he bring his niece again, and so he's been using Stevie as an excuse to not be able to do that. So he thinks that the GM is also going to ask him again to take his niece, and he's like, I just can't do it. And he's like, I don't care about that.
I thought a woman would soften you and make you understand.
Yeah, he even says, he's like, honestly, my niece is a lot. I'm surprised you went out with her as much as you did.
Yeah, but someone has to warm you up because right now your idea of teamwork or like a family is so shallow and you're so rooted in yourself and your twin.
Makes sense. Like, it's hard to take teamwork advice from someone who's been alone forever. Yeah. I get that.
100%. Yeah. And then he, on a whim, sees Indy, and then everyone's talking to her because she's so great. And he's actually, I do have a girlfriend. Indy's my girlfriend. I'm going to bring her to the event. And he's like, okay.
And he goes, you can meet her at the event. And he's, no, she's here. Bring her over right now.
He's like, okay.
And so he's like, Indy, this is the GM of the team. And he's
like, hi. Of the team. This is my girlfriend, Indy. And she's like,
what?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
And then she goes so overboard. She's like, oh, cupcake, this, and honey bun. And
she passes back, but in the most, like,
sarcastic
way of, okay, if you're gonna lie, then I'm really gonna turn it on to an annoying level and embarrass you.
And since she has already run into these friends who were shopping for the bridesmaids dresses, she knows that she has to see her ex at a wedding coming up. That's all of their childhood friends will be there, and she really doesn't want to come off as pathetic because she's been single
so like when they get home, they have a conversation and they're like, okay, basically we're going to make a deal.
This is mutually beneficial.
Yeah, but I also think that it's worth noting, because I don't feel like I have seen this in a lot of fake dating. It was his idea, and he actually had to convince her, even after he brought up the wedding. Yeah. She was still like, no.
She was like, no, we can't fake date because I have to. She was saying that was the reason they couldn't, because she couldn't pretend to be dating a famous person and bring somebody else to the wedding. Yeah. And that's when he suggests, I'll just go to the wedding with you, and problem solved. Both our problems are solved. And they're like, okay, she gives in. She's like, all right. And that is how our fake dating romance starts. So they go to this event together, and he is, of course, the most awkward motherfucker that you've ever seen in your life. He is not good at the fake dating, and Indy is doing all she can to help him.
He's just not good at being a celebrity in general. He's always just, like, when all the cameras are out, he's just running from the car to the end. And so they get to the event, and immediately she's like, no, I'm excited to be the center of attention. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and we're going to sell this. Yeah. And so then she's like, no, we're stopping for photos on the red carpet going into the event. And he's like, no, come on, let's just go. And she's like, no, we're stopping. We're posing. She's like, looking like you like me, like a little bit. And then they get into the event, and he is...
I feel like both of you would make good wives and girlfriends of an athlete. You guys would
buy me one.
Yeah, both of you
buy
are
me
like
one.
cut for an athlete.
Okay, fine. Twist my arm.
That actually explains so much to me, because fake dating is not my favorite trope, and sports romance is one I can dabble in, but it's not my favorite. But both of you are like, actually,
you got a problem with a sexy hot man?
No, you guys
they're
are
always so tall.
Actually into athletes and sports, and I can see both of you being like at an event event like this around people and like, being able to talk about the sport and be excited to watch the game.
You would hate it. You would hate it.
I love it.
But that's an aspect of her personality I feel is very relatable.
Yeah. Well, she works with professional athletes for her job.
Yeah.
So she is, this is nothing new. And also it's a Chicago sports get together. So the whole hockey team is there also. So at the event, I think it's at the event that they run into Kai with his baby. Mm-hmm. And I love this scene so much because Kai is basically, you want to come be this guy's mommy? And she's like, oh, he's just a baby. And Ryan is slowly just getting pissed. He's like, no, not an option. Do not talk to her. They're nothing yet, but he's immediately, someone shows interest in her and he is so jealous immediately.
Right off the bat. And she is like...
Oh, yeah, even when she walked into that first practice and all the guys were like, oh man, your roommate's so hot. Your roommate this. And
he's like, I hate her, but nobody fucking talk to her because actually... She is mine. She is my least favorite toy, but she's my toy.
Which I do love about a jealous man. There's like Ryan's personality in this. I wish that some of his grumpiness and non-communicativeness, he's almost perfect at the end, and I like him mean and grumpy to her. And
of course you do.
I know. Yeah, honestly, I agree with you.
I wanted him to stay a little bit mean, and at the end, he's
such a sweet boy.
And at the end of every romance book, I feel like everyone uses a little bit of like therapy speak, where they're like, I protect you and respect you, blah, blah, blah. But like, I want a bad boy to remain a bad boy.
In their day-to-day, though, he's still like has that personality.
A little bit, but I like, and he does, even towards the end, he does like insert himself when he feels a little bit jealous. But I like the jealous parts of Ryan, I thought were the most attractive when he's like, especially
everybody likes when a man is jealous over other men talking to you.
Yeah.
It makes you feel, as long as it's not like meathead jealous where they're actually going to physically threaten you, then it's fun.
Her best friend is this guy named Rio, and he is very careful not to be jealous of her best friend, even though he's jealous of all these other random athletes.
He's like almost not even jealous of Rio because Rio's more into him than he is into Indy, and it's very clear.
Yeah.
Rio is obsessed with Ryan Shay, which I just love that dynamic that him and Indy become best friends, and then her and Ryan end up together, and Rio's like, and at one point, Rio please get your boyfriend to sign my
And at one point, Rio is because they've had talks. She's had to friend zone Rio, but Rio always does the thing where even though he knows he's friend zoned and he's totally joking, he'll make jokes about how they are going to end up together. Or they're meant to be together.
Yeah, or like my house is open anytime, baby.
But he's 100%. He probably was at one point a little bit in love with her, but he is totally joking with her. They are good. He's accepted the friend zone and they're good friends.
Yeah.
But at one point, he says something to her about the situation, and she's like, I thought we talked about this. We are just friends. We're never going to happen. And he's like, no. He's like, this isn't about you.
Right.
This is about Ryan. And he's more jealous of her being with Ryan than he was at all about Ryan.
Yeah. He's more, not jealous that Ryan's with Indy, but he's jealous that Indy's with Ryan.
Yes, exactly. I love Rio.
I know. Rio's so good. He's such a sweetie. So this event goes okay. He's really awkward. Indy is a star, of course. She's great at this. But the owner and his wife, like, you can tell she doesn't think they're selling it. Indy doesn't think they're selling it. She's like, you're weirdly patting my arm. What is going on?
But she's been in a relationship and he hasn't. So she's like, you really don't even know what you're doing.
No, he has.
Nobody knew about it. So he was not out doing PDA with people. So she's really teaching him, like, how to act like not a robot.
Yeah. He's very, but she teases him a lot about being a robot. So they get invited by the owners to go camping, which this is one of my favorite parts of the book when they go camping. It's so good. They get invited to go camping. It's like glamping.
Yeah. I mean, they're at cabins. They're at a place where there's campfires and cabins. There's no tents.
And showers and running water, bathrooms, self-service. Yeah. But they get there and the boss is unloading the meat and he's like, I'm grilling up some steaks, and Indy's like, okay, great, I'll just pretend to eat that and then I'll throw it away. I don't want to offend this man. And then Ryan pulls out a cooler that she didn't know he packed, and he's like, oh no, Indy's a vegetarian, so here's, if you can throw some of this on for her, she doesn't eat meat. And that is the first moment where she realizes that, okay, maybe he is pretty caring. Wait, is he paying attention? He actually is listening to me and cares enough to do that. And she's shocked, but it's very heartwarming.
But then the wife of the older couple is like, your boyfriend might think more about you than my husband thinks about me. And some people have quiet acts of love, and their love isn't out and loud and proud. It's in these small gestures, and I can see that he does that for you. And this starts Indy's search for
mind changing about maybe what the situation could be.
Yeah, and she's really trying to figure out what Ryan's love language is. And she clearly has had a crush on him since the day she met him, and she is fighting off feelings this whole time.
She's also a huge romance book girly, and that comes up a lot because she's like, am I romanticizing this, or is this actually
turning into something?
Is this, and it'll also become a theme in the book where she says, are we faking this? Is this,
yeah.
And so this is like where she starts to wonder what his love language is, and I think that goes to show Indy as a character is really caring, and while she is pretending like this is all pretend, she is also trying to figure out how he likes to be loved, how he loves, and give him something in return, even though that's not going to be like financial, and she knows that he doesn't want a romantic partner. She's trying to figure out what he needs and how he communicates. And I thought that was really cute, because she ticks through every love language being like, okay,
maybe
is it this one, is
maybe
it that one?
Trying
to crack his code, even though he's at this point really bad with his words.
And so they have dinner, they make s'mores, and she's like, he says something that blows her mind, that enough that she's like the huge flame on her.
I don't know, but he's almost fingering her under a blanket, so maybe that's what it was, because she's like, oh, we're like right next to these people and no one can see what's happening under this blanket, so is it just pretend, or is he actually trying to feel me up?
I wouldn't call it almost fingering.
She gets turned on, he goes and jerks off. Does she know at this point that he is celibate?
No.
Okay. Also, we didn't really talk about so they made the rules for them living together. We didn't talk about the little rules that they made. The
bucket list.
Yeah. So when they decide to start fake dating, she's like, if this is going to work, then we need to work on these things. And her list for him was slow dance.
Like how to become the perfect book boyfriend, basically.
Yes, how to be the book boyfriend. So slow dance. She said kiss. He turned down kissing. He said absolutely no kissing.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I won't fake any intimacy with you.
Yeah. No faking intimacy. What was it? Slow dance and...
She asked him if he could growl.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Or make your eyes turn.
Can you darken your eyes?
What do you mean?
I need you to be standing, if you see me talking to another man, I need you to flare your nostrils a little bit and just be looking really angry. But his list for her was...
how to be independent.
Yes. He was like, I noticed that you were sleeping with a pile of pillows next to you, so it didn't seem like you were sleeping alone. And she was like, oh, fuck. He's observant. How did he know that? And then go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of things, and only for you and only what you want, not keeping anybody else in mind. Do this on your own. And just basically just because she has been with the same man for 6 years, and that man, she was also her best friend before they were dating, and she is always taking care of other people.
And he's like, you need to learn how to be alone, because you're never alone. Because she's always like, what are you doing? Let's hang out. Because she doesn't like to be alone.
But yes, that's from the beginning.
And I did like along the way, we do see her grocery shop alone, which is one of my favorite scenes. Now that you mentioned growling, he does at one point
later.
Growls.
Yes, he does.
And he might even, when he cuts in with her while she's dancing with Rio, his eyes might darken. So they do cross off each one of their lists.
Yeah, even though that's technically they don't make the list, they do end up happening.
And as we're going through this fake dating and they're working towards that marriage and towards the wedding that she has to go to, and they're trying to keep his boss fooled, they also come up with all these other little promises to each other and little contracts and deals that they write out on the fridge, or they write down on a little piece of paper. And I think that's so cute.
So cute.
Me too.
And I don't even think it mentions it in the epilogue, but I was just like, oh, this would be so cute to see 10 years from now, and they still got the little pieces of paper where they wrote down their deals.
Yeah, so cute. So after the campfire, they go back to bed. There's a weird tension because they're like, there's only one bed, and she's like, it's fine. I'm gonna sleep with pillows anyways. You can just sleep there. It's not a big deal. And he's okay. But then he is so into her, but he's not expressing that. So then we're in his POV. He takes a shower. He uses her body wash to jerk off in the shower, thinking of her, which is,
hot. This is the main trope of this book is slow burn,
Yeah.
foreplay, hand stuff, everything but the dick, everything but sex.
Yeah.
So we get a lot. We get a scene of her masturbating, a scene of him. We hit all of the bases, which is nice. Also infuriating to me when I'm just like, we are this far into the book and he's just now jerking off.
Yeah.
And then we find out why.
Yeah.
He is so reluctant to give in to his feelings with this girl.
Yeah. So they leave and he's okay. My boss definitely thinks we're dating. We're doing a great job. And she is starting to feel like, okay, I have feelings for this guy. I have to talk to Stevie about it because I don't want her to think I'm doing that same thing that all her friends did, which is try to get close to her, to be close to her brother. But I really am starting to like him. The vibe is changing. And so then they're getting really close, and he makes her coffee every day. She wakes up and her coffee is brewed and then put into the fridge so it's cold, so that it won't get watered down, which is a little Ryanism.
So cute.
That he starts doing, like, all of these small acts of kindness.
And they're just texting all the time.
Yeah.
And he has these nicknames for her. He thinks her name's Indiana, but it's Indigo, so he starts calling her Blue. He starts calling
Which
calling
I
her
love.
In.
I love that one.
And because she's a flight attendant, she'll be, like, gone for a couple days and really needy.
Yeah,
and
he
alone.
travels for work, so there's, like, all of this longing because they are pulled apart often.
And I will say that he thinks he's tricking the boss, but the boss got what he wanted, which is for Ryan
to become a better leader.
To be a person. And all of his teammates he was making spend 3 extra hours after practice doing drills instead of going home with their family. And now he knows what it feels like to have somebody to want to go home to.
Yeah. And so the guy that used to be Ethan, is that his name? He used to be the captain. He tells Ryan that Ryan takes everybody out for dinner. And he's like, I'm doing team dinner. I'm paying for dinner. And he's like, this isn't team dinner. Team dinner is about a casual being able to talk to everybody. Like, most of them can't even have a conversation with you, and they're also too scared to even try to have a conversation with you. And now we're here in this nice restaurant that he picks because it's super private and they have really good security and they don't let the paparazzi in. And there's all of this underlying where you're like, why is he so weird about this? That comes out later that is really important to all of his decisions in the entire book, I think.
Yeah.
But he is starting to learn from Ethan too. Okay, we are hosts. We got a host. You need to have a family dinner, whatever. And so they're getting closer. The catalyst of them actually admitting that they have feelings for each other is that Ryan gets hurt, right?
Did that happen before or after the proposal? That happens after the proposal.
What?
To Stevie.
No.
I think what happens first is she's like,
So they're edging each other this entire time.
yeah, and she realizes they're not, like, she can't come because she hasn't been able to come, like, orgasm since her last guy. And she's okay, this is fake dating. So I need to go on a real date and I need to get laid and I need to figure out how to have an orgasm with someone else because she can't even do it herself at this point. Yeah. And so then she goes on a date with a guy from a dating app.
Yeah, and he picks her up so she doesn't have a car or a way to leave.
Yeah.
And
she's like he's not being mean or like
he's just misogynistic, horrible.
He just sucks. And she asked Stevie for a ride. Their Ubers were taking over an hour. Stevie couldn't do it. Rio couldn't do it. So Stevie calls Ryan. And she's going to be pissed at me for doing this, but she really needs a ride. Yeah. And Ryan was like, well, where is she? And she was like, don't be mad. She's on a date. Yeah. And the guy's being weird. And he was like, oh my fucking, he's so mad. And then he goes there and then they get home after he fucking chews this guy out. Yeah. And this was my favorite Ryanism of the whole book was when he's so mad at her and they're fighting and he still won't let her open her own car door. I loved that when he's just like raging mad, and he always locks the door when he gets out, even when she's still in it, so that he has to come around and he unlocks it and then opens it for her. And I just loved that part.
I kept forgetting that she says he has Southern manner, and the audiobook, that was one thing that I was like, oh, sometimes it makes him talk too slow, but I almost wish he had an accent because I only remember that he has these Southern manners and Southern charm when he goes and opens that door. And I love that about him too, is that he's like, traditional gentleman manners. Yeah. That's always hot to me, always. Yeah.
But then then they're talking about it and they're getting in the fight, and then he's like, why do you need to go on? I'm famous. And so he's like, even though this is fake, if someone sees my girlfriend out on a date with another man, that's going to cause issues for both of us. Yeah. And she was like, if you really want the truth, and then she explains it, and he goes, if you wanted to help, you should have just said you wanted help.
Asked. Yeah,
you should have just asked me. And then he helps her. The moment that he told her she was celibate was when she was standing in the way of the spoons, and she was like flirting. This is after he had already helped her once, and then she was like in her towel, like putting dishes away, and then he came in just to get a spoon or something, and then
he picks her up on the counter and like spreads her legs, and he's flirting with her, and then he's like, yeah, good thing I'm celibate. And
he's like, you're not going to win this. And she goes, why? And then he goes, because I'm celibate. Slams his door.
So it must have been right after this first time. Yeah. But there is this moment where he's like, why can't you just take care of it yourself? I take care of it myself. And she's like, I literally can't.
And she explains.
Yeah, and then once what's going on, that's when he feels so bad, and then he's like,
you. And I like that this is represented, just because I think it for women it's such a mindfuck to be in your body sexually, and if you lose it and cannot be in that moment, it's so frustrating, and that's never talked about. So I thought it was nice that in this they're like, actually sometimes people really need help regaining perspective and being able to enjoy sex again, especially after they've had a bad experience. And I was like, oh my god, that's just so true. And having somebody be able to stop the intrusive thoughts during sex and be like, what, we're gonna get back in the moment. Yeah, I thought that was really hot. So that's what he's helping her with. She doesn't understand really why he's celibate, but she's respectful of it, although I hated it as a trope. If you're celibate out there, that's not a dig against you. It's just I personally was furious about it. I was like, this is such an annoying trope. They would have been fucking 12 chapters ago.
Yeah, but once you finally get the reveal of why,
it makes sense.
It makes sense. And you can see, when he talks about his emotional spiral, all of the things that led to this decision being the decision, you get how he got there.
Yeah.
Because he's doing so poorly, and then he's like, I'm tying up the condoms, I'm taking them with me really bad.
Massive
to a point where
issue.
it's okay, it's not even worth the stress. She's going on a flight, she's getting all ready, she's on the plane and leaving town, and everything was fine, and then she gets a panicked call or she doesn't have her phone on her, so turns out she has all these missed calls from Stevie. Xander's gets on the plane and he's like, you gotta call Stevie, Ryan got hurt. And she's, what? And he takes a hit in a game when he's going up for a shot, and it levels him out, and he is in the hospital. So she rushes to the hospital, and this is where you starting to realize it's not just that I need help having an orgasm, it's not just that we're have this flirty banter. I actually have feelings about this person. Mm-hmm. And I think that her showing up is that catalyst for him too, to be like, oh,
you missed work for this is not
this is more than behavior. I thought. Yeah, than I thought it was. Then what we've been pretending it has been thus far. And that is really good, because they start to be really good after this.
Because in the hospital, he has a freak out where he says, I have nothing. Basketball's everything. If I lose basketball, I have literally nothing to offer anybody. And she is like, you have me, and we're something, and can you just open up and let me in?
They're at home when he finally admits.
It was the first time she asked him to help her or something, and then it ended up being a little bit more real. And then he afterwards immediately
he just left. Didn't
yeah,
say
the post-nut clarity and the way of just, he was like, okay, I helped you, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, he helps her come, and he masturbates while she is, and then he comes, and then he just leaves, and she's like, what the he cleans her up and then leaves. He comes on her stomach. That he's immediately starts spiraling, and he's still a gentleman, so he cleans it up.
But the aftercare is lacking.
It's the bare minimum of aftercare before he locks himself in his room and won't come out.
So then when he finally confides in her and what happened in his past, he lets her know that a girl faked him into believing that they were in love, and she had a religious, strict family.
So they had to keep their relationship a secret.
And so they keep it a secret so long that she gets pregnant, and he's always wanted to be a dad, and he wasn't not trying. They weren't being careful, so he gets super excited when she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And all the way until she has the baby.
He bought the apartment that they live in now.
Yeah, for them.
For that, yeah.
And he has been there 7 years. This was back in college. And
after he got drafted.
So he found out that the reason their relationship was secret is because she had a different boyfriend the whole time, and they could tell he was going to be NBA #1 draft. So they wanted to get pregnant with his kid and then charge him for the child, or what do you call it? Child care.
Child support.
Child support.
They just want to be locked in on 18 years of child support.
Immediately, he knows it's not his kid. It doesn't look like his kid. Doesn't feel like his kid.
The baby is white. And he is black. Yeah, and it's immediately clear that it's not his kid. Yeah.
Which, Jesus, what was the plan there?
I mean, maybe she truly didn't know which of their babies it was.
Yeah, for sure.
Who knows?
Ugh. So that plan doesn't work out, but it also has destroyed his trust and belief in love and hope for the future. So he has been determined to be single, alone, not let anybody in, and never let anybody use him like this again.
Yeah. He mentally had a huge spiral and was only leaving the house to go to basketball practices, living in filth, not taking care of himself. And it took him a couple years to get out of that and to be back to his level of basketball that he's at. That's why his house is always so clean, because he was which Indy has all these realizations. He doesn't outwardly say it, but she's like, oh, that's why your house is so clean. That's why
my bedroom's painted yellow because
it was going to be a nursery. Yeah.
So she finds all of this out, and they start to make some
progress.
progress.
He will never go into her room, because she's take me to my room, and he's like, nope. we're going to my room. He won't go in there.
Yes, and they do start eventually sharing his room, and it's their room.
Yeah.
And I did love that after this realization, she helps sort that trauma for him and helps put a rest to it. But it's nice. This didn't happen till 80% of the way through the book, where you're like, okay, this is why Ryan is weird. This is what he needs to do to unpack and grow and move past this. And this is how Indy's going to help him. And then it felt like we really broke through into the progression arc of the story.
And when we forgot to mention this earlier, but when she first moves in, she is FaceTiming with her parents, and he learns that her dad is deaf, and it's really important because that's also one of my favorite parts.
It's the best part of the book.
It's so good. So he realizes that her dad is deaf, and so he asks Indy about like, sign language, whatever, and then it doesn't really come up again with her, but it does come up. He wants to learn how to sign, and then it's not really talked about for a while. And then once they're dating, he's hurt, but he's still traveling with the team, and both of their teams are both in Arizona the same night. And so she goes to the game, and before the game, the local school, like all the kids on the dean's list, got to come and get paired with a player and come out on the court. And so she's sitting at the game with the boss and his wife, and Ryan's girl is standing there, and she can see that something happens, that she notices that this girl is deaf. And she watches Ryan notice too, and then he starts signing to her. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute because she has no idea that he's been secretly. There's another moment before this that they're FaceTiming with her parents, and he's talking to them like they talk all the time, and she's like, that's weird.
They seem comfortable.
They seem super comfortable, and it turns out that his mom, her mom has been helping him learn sign language once a week this whole time.
This is so weird because the slow burn is a trope where this is totally edging slow burn the whole time, but then when you zoom out a little bit, you realize how little time has passed in the actual story, because their track from moving in together to being like happily ever after married with kids
like a
is
year,
very
9
short.
Months,
and it's
one basketball season.
But from the time they live in the apartment together to the time they live in their own house together is a couple months, and you realize he fell in love in that first week. He started learning sign language. We learned that he also bought her a house and has
paid for her fertility. We find out all of these things.
All the stuff that he's been doing since the beginning. So again, his communication style, even though we're getting his point of view and it's switching between their point of views, we never understand fully how dedicated and committed he is from the get-go. And I love the kind of love at first sight trope, and this isn't exactly love at first sight, but the moment he actually gets a real first impression of her, that is when he falls in love and he starts doing all this shit to commit to her immediately. So then his twin gets engaged, and this is one thing I wanted to mention about Ryan is that he is loaded and generous, and it's one thing that makes him a great book boyfriend because he keeps being like, my credit card's in the top drawer, just go grab yourself a dress, get my sister a dress. She's like, okay, I'm gonna get a pair of heels too, I'm not a cheap girlfriend. He's like, good, I hope you do. And that's when we find out also that she has been hoping to get health care. She hasn't been able to get health care, and when she goes into the clinic thinking that her health care is going to cover it, that credit card's been used for something else as well. So he's paying for everything in her life, and I'm obsessed with the sugar daddies. That was big brownie points for me. And I did love that. He's like, get yourself a dress, take my sister out, make sure she has a good dress too, because he's a solid brother. He's a solid boyfriend.
He is. He's a good boyfriend. And so things are going really well. And then, Stevie gets engaged. The party's really great. They're like happy. They're in a relationship. It's real. She is starting her fertility treatments because she's saved up enough money. She's saving money. Then she finds out that their health care plan changed at the beginning of the start of the new year. And so she's like, great, it's going to cover it now. She goes to the fertility treatments. They're like, your insurance isn't covering it, but it's covered. And she's like, what do you mean?
It's never really touched on, but do we think that Ryan put that HR person up to that?
Yeah,
100%.
The way he had Rio make her coffee, he had that HR lady go out and...
I'm going to pay for it. Can you just tell her it's covered because it's something she really needs?
Or tell her to go to this clinic.
She would never let me do it.
Which again, that's like what I thought. I just...
for sure.
It's never really touched on from Ryan's point of view.
It doesn't get touched on, but I absolutely assumed that he was like, tell her to go to this clinic. It's the one in network, and that's the one he is called to prepay for.
Yeah.
And not knowing if she'll ever show up to the appointment, just being like, keep the...
he knows he will. She will. Because I feel like she makes it pretty clear
how
that
important it is.
It's really important to her.
This little area is the biggest point of conflict in the book, and I will say that miscommunication is one of my least favorite tropes, and there is this miscommunication that is totally avoidable, that happens because Stevie, everyone's happy.
And it's also the 30-second miscommunication where he overreacts and she is like, immediately isn't like, her feelings are hurt, but she's like, I still love you. It's just that, like, clearly if you can't get through this thing that's really important to you, and this is the most important thing to me, then we are not, like, meant to be.
And also, like, rewinding though a little bit, one thing that I actually really appreciated about this book was the lack, yes, there's some miscommunications, right? But I thought that there was way more maturity than I've seen in most other romances. Like,
and there's not like a third act breakup.
I kept thinking like that there was going to be like, this is going to be the big fight that always happens 3/4 of the way. Yeah. And like, there was one, then I can think of like 2, maybe 3 moments where he would say something and I was like, oh, this is it. This is where she's going to get really upset. And then she was like, I think it was when Stevie gets engaged and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, why wouldn't I be okay? And he's like, obviously your life with your ex ended this way and blah, blah, blah. And she, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the big fight. She's gonna be like, oh, you're pitying me now? Like, expecting all this. And she was just like, that's so sweet that you would think of me that right now. Like, when today's about your sister and you're still thinking of me, that's actually really adorable and sweet. Yeah. And of course, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, and he thinks the, like, big breakup is going to be after she talks to her ex. Like, she's going back to him, and I'm just going to show up to this wedding, even though I don't know if she even wants me there. And she's like, finally, answer my call.
That's the point where at one point she talks to her ex and then he shows up to this wedding and he is the one who he's like, she doesn't know if I'm showing up or not. Oh, I wonder if we're still together. I'll show up to the wedding either way. And it's like, dude, she's trying to call you. That part was where I was like, this miscommunication is so annoying to me because I do think they're more mature than this. He's a millionaire 27-year-old who is like, capable of texting her and being like, don't worry, I'll show up to the wedding, so she's not freaking out all morning. I would have been shitting my pants.
Yeah, I don't think she was worried he wasn't going to show up, though.
Either way, why is he not texting her back? And then this other miscommunication where she is obviously getting fertility treatments. They're obviously always already hooking up. She doesn't quite know his feelings on whether or not he still wants kids. He does know she wants kids. The way she acts around kids, everything makes that pretty obvious. And he finds his sister's pregnancy test. He thinks it's hers and he
blows up,
freaks out. Yeah. And this is a small moment that could have been corrected really fast. Then she takes his overcorrection. She overcorrects. Yeah. Now we're flipping the car. And now we have already established enough stability in this relationship that I did not need or want this. But obviously to them...
But you know what? Stupid shit happens. Yes. Hello, my roommate just blew up his whole life for no reason and then had to go do all of this ridiculous shit, lie to another state to drive his boyfriend back here because he couldn't just have a conversation. We haven't
talked about this yet.
It is real. I'm like, unfortunately, it's seeming really realistic right now because men are dumb.
Yeah, no. And I just, for me, I was like, oh, wait, you're telling me you guys are having days of this internal turmoil where you're thinking to yourself, my boyfriend doesn't want kids and he's over here thinking I want to have her baby so bad, and this could have just been fixed with one simple conversation where he said, oh, I know the way I reacted. Thing is, I've always wanted to be a dad as bad as you've always wanted to be a mom. That's the simple truth. It's easy as that. Instead we have this long drawn out fight, which does have a very satisfying reconciliation because he buys her a house.
It turns out he bought her the house.
He bought her house way earlier, which I do love, and I will accept that as a form of apology.
I bet you would.
But I was just like, damn, this fight was just a little bit frustrating to me because she drags it on longer than she needs to in order to throw a surprise for him. And I'm like, oh my God, I would have already gone postal and killed everybody if I was this character. And, oh, what do you mean you're not really mad at me? You were just waiting 3 extra days to tell me you forgive me.
You know what, Courtney? Sometimes people need a grand gesture.
Courtney's never done anything dramatic in her life, so she just doesn't get it.
Yeah, she's not a dramatic person.
The thing is, I'm impatient, so I do the dramatic thing immediately. Okay, so he freaks out about the pregnancy. She freaks out. She goes to pretend to move out, and she moves into Rio's place. She starts to realize her mistake, and when she goes back to try to find a different place to live, Rio says, no, I have a broker who's going to show you some apartments. Don't worry about it. She's a great gal. The gal immediately takes her out to see one specific mansion. A mansion on land. And
she's like, what the hell are we doing here?
I can't afford the rent here. And she's like, no shit, Sherlock. Go inside and see your Mr. Right. So this is a very cute way to tie all this together.
He is cooking French toast, and she walks into the kitchen, and all of their contracts are on the fridge in the new kitchen, and isn't her plant there? Like, he's brought some things from the other house, and he's like, hey, why don't you have a seat and let's have breakfast, which is also
cute. The best
a
callback.
total full circle. There's lots of full circle moments in this book for sure, and that is one of them. And he shows her the deed to the house. He's like, I bought this house. It's 6 months before where we are in the book. And he's like, I bought this. It needed some work, but I knew this was the place outside of the city. I can live my life, and your name is on the deed. This is our home. It's not just mine. It's yours too. Can I give you the tour? Like, because... Or he doesn't even say that. He's like, your stuff is in the primary bedroom on the 3rd floor. Think about things, but I'll be back whenever you want me here. I'll be back. And so he leaves her, and she goes crying around this house, taking a tour herself, and is like, it's so beautiful. I can't believe this. And then, so that's his grand romantic gesture.
Yes, and she does. She takes 3 days to call him even back.
So 3 days go by, and she comes to his game.
That's right.
And then she leaves after the game ends, and it's their last game. They have to win in order to make it to the playoffs. And they win, but she leaves before the end of the game. And he's like, what the hell? She's finally back, and she's gone, and I want to talk to her, and I want to celebrate with her. And so then Stevie takes him out to the house, right? And then they get there, and the whole team is there, and it's this party, and she's furnished the house, and she's made it into their home. So then that's her grand romantic.
Make up. They have a big welcome party where everyone breaks in the house for them, and
they fuck right before everybody shows up for the party. That's what happened.
And they had fucked one other time before this, but this is our second fuck of the whole story that we hear about. Obviously, it's implied that they're fucking on the intern, but it was a good one.
It was a good one, because they decide they want to start trying, because she's like, I have all of these infertility issues, and he's like, oh, Stevie and I, as soon as he realizes it's Stevie's pregnancy test, then he's like, I wish it was Indy's pregnancy test. Imagine if we were kids, they could grow up together. He's immediately, I'm so dumb, I have freaked out in the wrong time. If she had just walked in 10 minutes later and he knew it was Stevie's pregnancy test, everything would have been
There would have been no crisis, which I guess every story
but
needs a
the
crisis.
end, you need a little bit of a crisis for the grand romantic gestures, which were good.
Which were cute. They were very cute. And then, so I guess I like this last sex scene because it's all breeding kink related.
Yeah, I knew you would.
But it's fun because they are definitely raw dogging. And then we get the epilogue at the end, which is the confirmation that, and also I love when we don't have to ask those questions. Oh my God, okay, so she got her fertility treatment. Did it work? How did it, or what did it work the first time? Am I supposed to believe that? And this is like, we tried the first time, did not
this is
work.
like 4 years, the epilogue is 4 years later, and it really talks about the realities of being in that actual situation, and like, okay, accepting that maybe they won't be able to have a baby, and then they're gonna adopt, and then it's like miraculously they happen at the same time, and they're like, okay, these are little twins. They're not real twins, but they're twins.
Which is so cute. I grew up with my sisters were twins. I want to have
he's
my
a
own
twin. Yeah.
He's a twin, and then they end up having a baby and adopting a baby of the exact same age.
Yeah, they're like 3 months apart or something.
I couldn't ask for a better ending. That's exactly how I want every story to end. Is like,
and her
hey,
name being Navy is so
kids.
cute.
Why?
Because navy blue and indigo.
Oh, I didn't know.
I actually, okay, so I loved the reasoning. I thought there were so many other fucking blue names you could name.
I did not even get that Navy.
I got it immediately, and I just
was
like, Navy's a stupid
Marines.
fucking name.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
But tell me your father-in-law is a
Navy SEAL,
a man that's a Navy SEAL.
I literally was like, Navy. Oh, wouldn't want a beer. It is very cute. Stevie has her kid, Taylor, and then they've got their 2 kids. So they're all cousins at the same time, and they're watching their dads play basketball. All the kids are wearing their jerseys.
Love a daddy moment. She takes the kids down to the court.
Oh, yeah, and then he's holding both the kids.
Oh, so
adorable.
cute.
But I do love a jersey moment, and there's a couple jersey moments that are amazing. Rio gets his jersey signed by him. There's moments where she's wearing his jersey, but the best jersey moment is when he goes up to his to her ex, and he's like, hey, I see you have a jersey of mine. You better keep that as a reminder of what your ex-girl's name's about to be, because she's going to be changing it to mine here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that scene.
I love that
so
scene.
Good. That scene is so good. And then all his friends are like, hey, can you sign my jersey? And he's like, come on, guys. And they're like,
it's Ryan Shay. He's like, he just said he's fucking my girl.
And he's, do you want me to sign your jersey? And he's like, this isn't even mine. It's my friend's. I don't want to return it with Sharpie on it.
Yeah, he's like,
it's a terrible cover.
Next time you see it hanging in your closet, just remember, I'm gonna marry your girl. I'm gonna marry her, you piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
I just love that. I loved all the moments where he's a tad bit jealous, but that was really great. And I like the moments where you realize behind her back, he's saying this shit, because he does that behind her back. He also tells Rio behind her back, make her coffee a certain way.
Yeah.
He definitely, I think, is talking to the HR lady behind her back.
Yeah.
So he's like a little puppet master who very quietly is setting these things in motion, which is really cute.
Yeah. They're like, it all feels like small things until they're really big things.
Yeah. There's that meme going around right now, which is like, oh, I just walk around and the doors open themselves and the books get paid for themselves. And then it shows this big hulking man walking around. And that's her. She's just like, oh, I just suddenly, my housing issues and my fertility issues are gone. And
everything's fine.
Everything just takes care of itself miraculously. And meanwhile, Ryan is holding a knife to the HR lady's throat. Like, don't
tell her the plan changed. Tell her the healthcare is going to cover it.
I really like that about him.
I do love a man. I love the trope of the man doing nice things, not for the recognition of being nice, but because he sincerely wants that for the woman.
Yeah.
Doing them not because you
not
want...
for the credit.
Yeah, you don't want credit. You don't want the clout with the girl. You're not trying to necessarily win her over. It's just that it needs to get done. Somebody's got to do it.
Things that he does that are showing his love for her, watering her plants all the time, even to the point of killing them.
Yeah.
Because he's so badly trying to do nice things behind the scene, learning sign language for her so that he can speak to her dad, and then their kids learn sign language, which, oh my God,
cute.
Melted at that part.
Yeah, I love that part.
He braids her hair. He takes care of her when she's like, he's such a primo book boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I say that all of that with having some actually... Like, I really like the story, but there's some of my least favorite tropes, I think, in this. I have decided in this book, I don't like fake dating, actually.
Oh, I love fake dating.
Actually realize I don't like it. And because the whole plot is the fake dating, and then there has to be a miscommunication.
Because is it real or is it not real?
That's always the same question. But I did like this story, and I do think Ryan, actually both characters, the main character and the love interest, are both really well-rounded characters, and I wanted to root for them. So, but Ryan especially, he's hitting some certain nails on the head, other than his celibacy things.
Yeah.
Oh, a little bit of a short king. So, I don't know. That was one downfall for me.
A short king? He's 6'5".
He's 6'3". 6'3".
I thought he was 6'7".
No.
Note it. 6'3", mentioned many times because he's a point guard and he is like the
short
shortest
for a
one
basketball
on the
player?
team. Yeah.
How tall's your husband?
6'4.5", almost 6'5". And that is my minimum. He is, I told Wolfgang a couple times, he's a short
You know
king.
what? The truth is that she would settle for a 5'2" woman.
Oh, that is the truth. As long as she's got G titties. Actually.
Don't be a liar, Courtney. We all know. You'd be fine with 5'2".
True that. True words never spoken. But yes, so, and also, there is one other fact check point. They're dancing together, and Indy says, he has a hard-on, and she goes, it hits me right above the apex of my thighs. And
She's
I'm
tall.
like,
She's like 5'10".
They talk about it the whole time that she's super
She's
tall
5'10".
for a woman.
Yeah.
Because
I knew she
he
was
loves
in
that
heels all the
he loves
time.
that she's tall, and she is like, it
In
was such an
heels and tall.
insecurity with Alex, me wearing heels, because I'm
Alex
already
wouldn't
tall.
let her wear heels because if she wore heels, she was taller than him.
There's that conversation
That
that
checks
they're
out.
having, and he's standing on the curb so that
Yeah.
he's taller than her.
that checks out.
Yeah.
One thing that I didn't like, and it's such a minor little fact check thing, and this is just not even a fact check, it's just a matter of men, maybe it makes sense because men don't understand things, but at the very end when he's, at one point when she asked me about what his love language, and he's like, my love language is whatever you want it to be, and I'm like, and then he does something and she's like, his love language is this, and it's, no, you have a love language for how you give love and how you receive love.
it.
Yeah.
That kind of just irked me, but it's just a little thing.
But I also do think a man would say that.
Yes,
No,
100%. It's very accurate. It's accurate. It just pissed me off.
But what I will say, though, is that I like that she's a reader, and this is a very relatable thing about her, is that a woman would put a lot of weight on that, whereas he's like, I don't know, I do all 5 of those things, and I like all 5 of those things, which is a very manly answer. But I like that that it's something that all of my friends have in common is the 4 love languages. That book came out, and if you're in any kind of relationship, you've probably read it or understand it or have taken a test to know what your love languages are as a girl. I think that makes her really relevant and also planted in a certain time period, because this is definitely happening in the 20 teens. Like, that's where I place it in my brain. And then I also like that her as a reader comes back. She's a romance reader who constantly has books. He picks up her books at some point and reads them to her.
Yeah, and the other thing I really like about this book is that the whole time she's downplaying because of her past relationship. She's like, I could have had a job in finance, but I'm doing the adventure. And she's downplaying her intelligence, that all of her things, she was like, oh, Dartmouth, that's a great school. She's like, yeah, we got in, but Alex didn't want me to go there. And it's like, Ryan is like, fuck that, run my foundation. Let's do it. Like, you're so smart. Do whatever, you can do whatever you want. And
well, and actually, and with the Dartmouth thing, it was when she was talking to the owner of the team, and he's talking about Dartmouth, and she goes, oh, Dartmouth, I did apply. And he's like, yeah, it's really hard to get into, but never actually asked her, like, oh, did you get in or did you go? And he just said, yeah, it's a hard one to get into, really low acceptance rate. And she's like, and then later, Ryan finds out that she actually did get accepted and she didn't go because of Alex. And he was like, why didn't you say that? And she's like, I think that unfortunately men find women especially, like, more likable if they're not intimidating. And she was like, and if I had just dropped that bomb, he might not have liked me as much as he does because I would be intimidating to him. And I thought that was like a really relevant and just
honest
good
interpretation of the world. Yeah,
and then,
because it is so real.
I do also like that she understands she planned her whole life. It can sound like she planned her whole life around a man, but she planned her whole life around a vision of a life she wanted. Yeah. And so she went out and tried for the life she wanted, and that plan got fucked up. But she's not embarrassed or ashamed of the fact that she wanted a husband and wanted kids and wanted a life and wanted to be a homemaker. That's not embarrassing to her. And she's smart enough to choose whatever path she wants, but she finds that to be a valid path, which I like, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what Ryan always saw for himself, was a house and a wife and kids. Yeah. And that's what she's seen for herself. And I like the idea of the wives and girlfriends as being people who are like, we want to be wives and girlfriends. We like being their biggest fan, and we like being in this club where we all get to be the homemakers, that they spend like 80 hours a day at the gym, and then they come home and we're like having the kids and the social interactions so that their life is well-rounded. I think that's cute and valid, and I don't know, maybe I'm soft in my old housewifey days, but I'm like, I like that at the end of the day, she's like, hey, I am hella smart, I have a master's degree, and I'm also going to host the best fucking team dinner because I'm badass and I can do it better than anybody, and that is the best way to support my man, and not in like a trad wife way, but like it's very empowering, I think, to be like, those are valid skills.
And she's like, I want to be a mom, and I love to cook, and I'm really fucking good at it, and also I'm so smart.
And the team will be a better team. I might actually make the Chicago have a better season because I help bring everyone together as a family, and that social value added should be recognized.
Who's your book boyfriend?
My delusional boyfriend was Ryan from this book. Indy is a good choice, but her boobs are small for me. And I will say that Ryan is just, he recognizes her needs as like a vegetarian, as a woman with desires, and he doesn't make any of his needs or wants or career goals secondary. He just finds out how to make them happen at the same time, which I really like. I thought that was very manly.
I find him my delusional boyfriend in this book for sure. In real life, I don't think I would be happy being with somebody that's, I don't want to go do stuff, I don't want to leave it. That's not the life for me. But he is so good in this book that I'm like, you've sold me, even though I actually think I have no interest in this at all.
And I am just like, okay, but the guy who makes you want to stay at home all day with him and
is a good,
that's like how you know it's love, is when, and I think that's one thing I like about Indy is she's like, oh,
and just I feel like all of us are the type of people that are very much thinking about other people a lot, and he does that. He's very much so, I'm gonna do this thing that is maybe a 5-minute inconvenience for me, but it's gonna make your whole day better, so I'm gonna do it. And I think that we all have the tendency to do that, and so that being mirrored back is like a dream.
A total dream. But IRL, would I date him IRL? No. He's too busy. He is too much like a recluse. And I think that would be difficult IRL for sure.
That's what I want.
You want that?
I want that. I want to, because I want someone who is, because I want to go out and do things without him sometimes, and him not be needy while I'm doing other things. And I also want, I just think that I think he is the perfect man for me in this book and in life.
In life, that would be a perfect situation. Oh.
Yeah.
And also, athletes, you guys would both date a pro athlete?
Absolutely.
I'd certainly try.
I feel like that would be such a stressful life. I hate it.
I think that it would, the only thing that's hard is a professional athlete travels a lot for
And
work. A lot. They're gone a lot.
And they're cranky when they don't win. I don't like that.
That part I
no, I think
handle.
for me, for the traveling, I'm like, again,
I think it
need
depends.
a part-time serious
To
boyfriend.
me, it depends on the professional sport. Because I love baseball, but those motherfuckers play 165 games in the regular season.
That's
and
crazy.
then the playoffs last a month. And every series is a 5-game series, a 6-game series, a 7. It's so much.
Yeah, no.
I actually,
It's
and I know
so
you
much.
hate basketball games, but I actually think that my
my
perfect
ideal would be a
pro
basketball.
athlete would be an NBA, would be a basketball.
For me, I like football. I can get down with hockey if they shower. But I think in real life, hockey players aren't hot. Just like in books, hockey players are the hottest.
I'm like, gun to my head,
And
a
I've-
volleyball player and a woman.
I would prefer basketball. I also love basketball.
Yeah.
So I would say basketball or football. I would be pretty happy either way.
Yeah, I started with no baseball, but I'm actually back to baseball.
You're back to baseball.
I'm back to baseball.
Their
I'm fine.
butts look the best. We've all picked our
I
delusional
will say
boyfriend.
there was a moment where I was like, I fucking love Rio so much. But
Rio's really
ultimately, yes, it's Ryan. That might change when I read Rio.
Here's my question. Yeah, are you going to read more books in the series?
Absolutely.
Would you
I think
read
I
more
probably
books?
would, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'd like Xander from the first book.
Yeah. I feel like you would like the book I'm reading right now about the coach, Monty, and the female owner of the baseball team that's taking over.
Fuck yeah.
I think you would love It's called A League of Her Own. And
Is it lesbian?
no, Monty's a man.
so sorry.
No, he's a
I'm so
man.
sorry.
No, there's no women coaches in baseball
putting
yet.
aside-
Not yet. Give us another 40 years and maybe.
Yeah, in a league of their own.
Yeah, she's like, in the book, she's the first female owner of a baseball team.
That's hot
in the league.
because she's rich. They're both rich.
And she's curvy like me. You would love her. It was about Kai. And so there's like single daddy hotness the whole time.
Very into
And it's
that.
and it's the girl he gets with is Miller, who is the coach Monty. It's his daughter. Like becomes his on the road nanny for the season.
Oh,
it's so
Coach's
good.
Daughter's Forbidden Fruit. I like
It's
this.
so good, you guys.
And tell us the author's name one more time.
Liz Tomforde.
Liz Tomforde. Okay, so if you want to hear any of those episodes, maybe we'll come back and do bonuses
Yeah,
for them.
that's-
Otherwise,
This is one of my favorite like sports romance series. I think the whole series is so good. I enjoyed every book. I feel like this one was one of my favorites. That's why I picked it. But the whole series is so good. Yeah, I really like the whole series.
I will definitely want to read more of these. And if we can get on the same track and read them together, we will do a bonus episode. Also, I'm really hoping to do a bonus episode with you guys on Off Campus.
Oh yeah, I've read all of those. So good in the show.
Did you watch the show yet?
I watched the show.
Okay, so I will watch a show, then we will get together to do a bonus episode because I feel like we need to. So if you guys are into all of that, make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on auto download so you never miss an episode.
Yep.
And until next time, remember, sometimes the delusion
Is the solution.
Bye.